Okay, so we started using advanced AI because, well, it promises speed, right? And a technically perfect draft every single time.
Hmm.
But now there's this strange thing happening, that perfection. It's actually stripping the writing of its human voice and ends up sounding robotic, forgettable, really.
And that's the really tricky part now, isn't it? An article that sounds perfectly, safely AI generated.
Yeah.
That's almost worse today than something a bit clumsy but clearly written by a person.
Worse. How so?
Because that robot voice signals, well, it signals a lack of honesty, a lack of care.
Yeah.
Readers, they want a connection, not just an algorithm spitting out text.
Welcome to the deep dive. We get it. You need to gain knowledge fast, but you also want it to stick, to be effective.
Yeah.
So our mission today is to figure out how thoughtful writers like you can use AI's power without letting it erase your unique personality.
Exactly. We're going to move past the usual, oh, just write better prompts. Advice, that's part of it, sure, but we're really focusing on the editing phase, the human touch. We found 5 specific, kind of sneaky robot signs that show up in AI drafts. And we've got practical ways to fix them.
And it's interesting, digging through the sources, we realize these patterns, they're not just machine things.
Yeah, I know.
They're really signs of weak, maybe even lazy human writing that the AI just amplifies because, well, they're common, statistically safe.
Right. So learning to spot and fix these actually makes you a stronger writer overall, AI or not.
Okay, so where do we start? That initial feeling when you first use these tools?
Oh, yeah, that initial magic moment.
Yeah.
It's powerful. You put in a prompt, ChatGPT or whatever, and boom.
Yeah.
A whole article, 1,500 words. Outline looks great. Grammar's perfect. You think, okay, this is it, the ultimate shortcut.
Yeah, I still wrestle with that myself, honestly, that feeling. After churning out a bunch of articles, I look back and notice, yeah, they were professional. They were neat. But they didn't sound like me anymore. The soul was gone. Where were the messy sentences, the random thoughts, the jokes only I find funny?
And to fix that, we got to understand why the AI writes like that. What's actually happening under the hood.
Right.
So a large language model, think of it simply as a system predicting the next most likely word. It's read, like everything, billions of examples.
Every textbook, every news article, every comment section.
Exactly. So it's just choosing the statistically safest word to put next, what comes up most often in that context.
And the result of that mechanism is, well, safe writing, predictable writing.
Yep. Common patterns, staying neutral. And it loves balanced rhythmic structures, loves them.
Because they're everywhere in the training data, right?
Billions of times.
Yeah.
So the outcome is smooth, like frictionless, but there's no surprise, no real motion.
Okay.
So here's a question then. If the AI defaults to these safe, repetitive structures, what's the core job, the essential task for the human editor looking at that first draft?
Our job is, well, it's to break those patterns deliberately, to inject life, maybe some friction, definitely surprise, back into the text.
Okay, let's dig into the first couple of traps. These are structural ones. We'll start with sign 1, the 3-part rhythm trap.
Ah, the rule of 3.
Yes, AI absolutely adores it. You see it everywhere. Slogans, commands, lists. It's fast, simple, and powerful, that kind of thing. It feels organized.
It does feel powerful initially, but I see this, and yeah, I fall into it too sometimes. It sounds authoritative, maybe, but use it too much, and the whole piece starts sounding like a pre-programmed speech, like someone reading cue cards. It just flattens everything. The rhythm gets monotonous.
Totally. It's like music where every single beat is exactly the same. Thump, thump, thump.
Yeah.
So the fix is, well, it sounds simple, but it needs intention. You got to break that rhythm. Stop using 3 equal sentences or 3 equal phrases all the time.
Okay, that sounds good. But, when you're on a deadline, reaching for that rule of 3 is just, it's fast. How do you actually force yourself to slow down and vary it in a real workflow?
You have to consciously edit for cadence. Try this. Write 1 really short, punchy sentence, almost blunt. Then follow it immediately with a really long, complex one. Something detailed makes the reader pause and think.
Ah, change the pace.
Exactly. Then maybe end with a medium-length one. You're creating a natural flow, kind of like how a person actually breathes when they talk, not like a drum machine.
That makes a lot of sense. Connecting ideas, showing depth, not just listing things. Okay, let's talk sign 2. Overusing parallel structures. The not this, but that trap.
Oh, this one is everywhere, especially in business writing. It's not about working hard, it's about working smart.
Right. This isn't just marketing, it's storytelling, stuff like that.
Yeah, it gives you that strong contrast. AI likes it because it seems definitive, easy to process.
But the real issue here, the deeper one, is that this binary framing, black or white, this or that, it makes the thinking feel, well, flat, simplistic. Real life is messy, right? It's full of complexity, contradictions, all those shades of gray. If you only offer opposites, you're missing the human part.
Absolutely. So the fix here for the human editor is to intentionally embrace that complexity, even the contradictions.
Okay, give me an example.
Look at that leadership example from the source. The AI draft might say something flat like, leadership is not about taking power. It is only about taking responsibility. Sounds neat, right?
Yeah, sounds like a slogan. Very clean.
But the human rewrite, it accepts that, well, power and responsibility are kind of tangled up in reality. You can't always separate them so cleanly.
Right.
So the rewrite adds a personal perspective. It might say something like, sometimes leadership is actually about being quiet, about listening hard, and realizing that power isn't something to just avoid, but it's this volatile thing you have to manage ethically, moment by moment.
Okay. So the AI gives you the perfect, simple slogan.
And the human gives you a thoughtful tension, something to chew on.
Okay, probing question time. Beyond just editing the draft, how can we prompt the AI initially to maybe avoid these simple opposites and repetitive rhythms?
Ask for complexity. Prompt it to explore connections, inherent contradictions, maybe even specify using varied sentence lengths from the start.
Okay, so those first two were about structure, the rhythm of the writing. Now let's get into the traps that really kill the voice itself. Starting with sign 3. Using too many big reveal tricks.
Yeah, that sort of canned Q&A rhythm AI falls into, that fake drama.
Like what?
Like, what's the secret to productivity? And the next sentence is, it's simply consistency.
Yeah, I see that.
It's trying to create this feeling of intimacy, like it's letting you in on a secret, but without the writer actually having to show any real personality, it feels like. Like an awkward script you've heard a million times.
So fake. Okay, so how do we fix that?
You got to ditch the script entirely.
Yeah.
Instead of that chief secret, share a real confession or a moment of insight you actually earned.
Okay.
Think about that procrastination example. The AI draft just gives generic advice. Break down your tasks into smaller, manageable chunks. We've all heard that.
Right. Standard productivity tip.
Super generic. But the human rewrite, it turns that into a personal admission. The writer confesses the real struggle wasn't just breaking down tasks.
What was it?
It was realizing the fear wasn't about the work. It was about how totally unclear the goal, the required outcome, actually was. That's vulnerability. And it's instantly more convincing.
Way more convincing. Okay, moving to another voice killer. Sign 4. Weird emphasis or fake detail.
Yeah. When AI throws in these random specifics to try and sound authoritative or create atmosphere.
Like the chipped blue mug on the desk.
Exactly. Or insisting an email arrived at 3:47 p.m. precisely. It does this because, in its massive training data, specific details often show up in writing that seems authoritative.
But we notice it, right? As readers, we spot the filler.
Immediately. If the detail doesn't actually matter, if the color of the mug or the exact minute doesn't change anything emotionally or informationally, it just weakens the main point. It's noise. It breaks the flow.
And it kind of breaks trust, too. You promised authority, but you just gave me set dressing.
Whoa. Just imagine scaling that, though. Imagine the AI processing 1 billion examples and noticing every single irrelevant detail in them.
Every dust mote, every pen left on a table.
Yeah. And it calculates statistically, okay, adding a detail like this seems correlated with good writing, even if that specific detail serves zero purpose in this context.
So what's our fix? It seems straightforward.
It is. Replace those irrelevant external props with living internal details. Focus on the inner perspective.
So instead of the mug.
Instead of the mug or the clock, talk about the strange sense of relief you felt after sending a really difficult email. Or the knot in your stomach before a presentation.
Got it. The detail has to reveal something about your perspective, your internal state, or actually move the story forward.
Okay, quick check. What's the core rule then? How do you decide if any detail should stay in?
It absolutely has to teach the reader something specific about your perspective, or it has to push the narrative forward. No free rides for details.
Perfect.
Okay, we're at the final sign. And maybe the most important one, because it kind of underlies all the others. Sign 5. The missing personal fingerprints.
Ah, yes, the deadliest sign.
This is when the writing is technically perfect, factually correct, grammatically flawless. But it's just too clean, too distant. There's no person there you feel you can trust.
Because AI can string words together. It can synthesize facts, but it cannot generate lived experience. It hasn't lived anything.
Right.
That's where the generic output feels so hollow. It has no failures, no funny stories, only it remembers. No scars, no triumphs, really. So generic advice, like that old cliche, content is king.
Mm-hmm.
It's just noise without your specific context, your story behind it.
So this is where the human editor really has to step up. This is the intervention step.
Absolutely. You have to aggressively add yourself back in.
How, wow, what does that look like?
Add your frustrations, your little side comments. Use unique comparisons, like maybe writing isn't like building a spreadsheet. Maybe for you, it's like trying to cook your grandma's really complicated recipe from memory.
Okay, okay.
Mention cultural influences, movies you love, books that changed you. And crucially, admit mistakes. Show your vulnerabilities.
That active listening example was really powerful here. The AI just says something sterile-like.
Right. Focus on the speaker and show empathy by nodding occasionally. Thanks, robot.
Yeah, super helpful. But the human version, that shares the anecdote, right? About the friend who actually pulled them aside.
Yes. And told them bluntly, talking to you is like talking to a wall. You just don't listen.
Ouch.
Yeah, ouch. But the friend wasn't being mean. They were being honest.
Mhm.
And that moment, being called out like that, it was painful, but it was transformative for the writer.
And sharing that.
Sharing that shows the whole messy journey of learning to listen. It's not just advice anymore. It's hard-won wisdom, and it builds instant trust because the reader thinks, okay, this person messed up too, just like me.
So the skill we're really talking about here, it's not about avoiding AI. That ship has sailed.
Nope, impossible now.
It's about using AI smartly. Use it for the first draft, get the structure, the efficiency. But then you have to carefully, maybe even painstakingly, edit until that draft carries your unique fingerprints, the stuff only you could add.
So thinking about that, if efficiency and structure, getting that basic draft down fast, is AI's biggest gift to us, what's the one essential human thing we need to bring to actually transform that draft into something memorable, something that resonates?
We have to be wiser editors, I think, and maybe more honest storytellers. We have to insert ourselves, our real selves, into every single word.
Yeah.
So the big idea to take away today seems really clear in this world just flooded with algorithms and, let's face it, tons of generic content. Your biggest advantage, your superpower, is the one thing AI can never truly copy, and that's
Well, it's you.
precisely. It's not whether you use AI anymore. That's not the interesting question. It's how you're going to use it. Are you going to let it lead you down the path to generic sameness, or are you going to guide it with your own unique, sometimes messy, authentic voice? You decide.
Right.
So our challenge to you listening right now is this. Use the tech. Embrace it. But do it in a way that makes you the memorable one, not just another faceless name in the crowd. Okay, final thought then. Something to mull over. Before you hit publish on that next piece you drafted with AI, ask yourself this seriously. What's the one specific personal failure, or maybe a specific, slightly obscure cultural reference that only you could possibly share that would instantly make that piece sound completely authentically human?